What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? It's your boy back again, and if you can see the heart on my hat, today on this Bible study, we're going to be talking about the heart. Now, we're going over the heart and what the Bible says the heart is and stuff like that, because I think it's very important that we understand it so that we can utilize it, and also like treat it properly. I think a lot of times we hear all these things like follow your heart, let your heart decide, stuff like that, where biblically speaking, it never says that, and it tells us how to treat the heart and what the heart is capable of. So let's get into it. Cool. There's plenty of verses on it, right? A lot of verses on it actually, and I'm just going off of like, let's say maybe like 11 verses, and as I'm going through them, I'll put them up on the video for you guys. But yeah, so again, why I think this is so important, because I think like people need to understand the heart isn't very like logical in what its actions and what it does. So it's important for us to really treat it as such, understand what it is good at and what it is there for and what it shows us, but also not taking it as this logical sense that's supposed to be making judgments or anything. Now, let's get into it. What is the heart? I have, well, let's say about 12 facts, about like 12 different aspects of what the heart does. Now, I'm going to go over them. I'm going to talk to you about where it says in the Bible about this, and then just follow along. So, what is the heart? Number one, it is a reflection. Now, look at Proverbs 27:19. It says, as in water, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects the man. Meaning that what is in your heart is going to be reflected and shown out in yourself. So it's going to be what's in your heart is a reflection of you. So like the things you go through, the things you care about, the things you think about, stuff like that, it's going to come out through your heart and stuff like that. And it's important to understand what you put in your heart or what you care about will be shown, because it's like when your heart is attached to it, there's almost like no way of stopping it from showing it, you know? So like to the fact that like case in point, me and my siblings, I love my siblings, you know. If something were to happen to them, or like somebody tried to do something to them, I would have to check my heart to make sure that I don't do nothing nutty, because my heart and my feelings are attached to my siblings, because I love my siblings. You feel me? Case in point. So that my siblings and my family being in my heart is it's gonna reflect that through certain levels of my actions, you know, or through my feelings. So you're going to see if I tell you that I care about my family and all that other stuff, something happens to my family, of course you're going to see that through my feelings and stuff like that. So number one, it's a reflection of you. Number two, it's deceitful. I know a lot of people don't think about that, but the heart is deceitful. Jeremiah 17:9. It states, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? With that said, it's kind of like we don't always understand the things we care about or think about, or like really like has our heart and stuff like that. But like to an extent, like the heart isn't one to always be trusted when it comes to those things, you know, like especially when it comes to moving logically and stuff like that, or with sound mind. Like that you need to move with sound mind, but the heart is not a logical thing, so like it doesn't think like the mind does. You feel me? It goes off of emotions a lot of times, so it's hard to understand the heart because it is fueled by and has emotions like that. So it can be deceitful. Like it can be deceitful, and it can move you to do things that aren't beneficial for you. So it's not good to just listen to your heart all the time, you know. Number three, it shows you what you treasure. Matthew 6:21 states, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So it pretty much is saying the things that you cherish and the things that's close to your heart, that's the things that you treasure. Again, like I said before, my family, I treasure my family. Like if you love red cars, if you love anything that you really care about and you really have strong feelings about, it shows what you treasure and what you value. Like it shows what has value to you. So your heart can also tell you those things. Like it's 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 important to make sure that you regulate it and know what's in your heart so that you know the things that you're treasuring. Number four, it needs protection. And five, life flows from it. Now, both these are in one verse, and that verse is Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the springs of life. This meaning that your heart, one, it needs protection, so that means you need to watch out for it because it is extremely important because that life flows from it. Like life, it's very important to make sure your heart is protected over. That means guard your heart. Don't allow everything to have your heart. If your heart is attached to somebody that it doesn't need to be attached to, you feel me? You better pray that God can 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 take that out of your heart so that it's not hurting or breaking your heart continuously, because the heart is so important because life flows out of that. Like the words you say, everything, especially when they tell us to speak with love and stuff like that. Everything that you say, the way you say it, stuff like that. A lot of times, it's also your heart is also attached to those things. Yes, you think before you speak, right? But at the same time, your emotions and stuff, the feelings you have are attached to the things that you say. So it's like it helps you, and especially the believer, to portray that or show that through your heart. You feel me? So it's like the life flows from that. So if you're not keeping vigilant and making sure that it's protected and stuff like that, or you're not being a good steward of your heart, then it's going to be made new. You're going to need it to be made new so that it can still flow life and everything like that. There's a point here that if you don't keep it vigilant and you don't like check it, then it can be detrimental for you and the people around you. I'll get into that later though. Number six, the heart shows feelings good and bad. This is coming from Proverbs 15:13, where it states, "A glad heart makes a cheerful face, but by the sorrow of heart, the spirit is crushed." So if the heart isn't doing well, it crushes the spirit. So when your spirit is crushed, it kind of, you just think of those scenarios where you're heartbroken and then you don't want to do anything, you don't want to get up, you don't really think of any of the positives of life and stuff like that. So the opposite of that, being glad, having a glad heart, shows a cheerful face. So it shows that I'm happy about life. It shows that I'm excited about my future. It shows these things. So that's why it's so important that you, again, stay vigilant, watch it, because the heart shows, and it even has a level of motivation when you have those feelings that make you want to do stuff, and oh yeah, I can do this, da da da. It it it's so important. It has the ability to fuel those things because of your feelings and stuff like that. So if you don't watch it and make sure your heart is good, then those things, it makes it hard to do. And then there's sorrow within you, and moving with sorrow is extremely hard. So even with that, sorrow can become depression, and then that's when you see people who don't want to do anything. They don't want to move. They don't want to. It's and a lot of us have been in those states and stuff like that because of levels of heartbreak, and stuff like that. Now the mind can be like, "Hey, I told you not to do blah blah blah," right? Because the mind is always thinking ahead. The mind is the thing that has you cautious, not fearful. Don't be fearful, but has you cautious of things and tries to make sure you're good. The heart doesn't have that. The heart is just feelings. I like how this person treats me. I like how da da da. Or I think this job is vast. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. But until something switches and then it's bad, and then the heart is like, "Oh man, why did that happen? Now I'm so hurt." The heart's not thinking logically and stuff like that, but it can be hurt. You know, but like I said, number six, it shows feelings good or bad. So it's going to show the feelings that are in it at some point. That's the scenario where your friend is sad, or somebody is dealing with something, and you can just tell. Like it's too hard to hide it or mask it. So it's like at some point the heart's gonna let it flow at some point. Unless you really like keeping it down all within yourself, it's still gonna show itself at some point. I've definitely been in scenarios where things will make me extremely mad. You feel me? and then like I would have to either go on a walk, chill out, or something like that, because the thing that had happened touched and affected my heart so much, it now moved me to do action. Now, logically, thank God, it didn't make me do nothing stupid. No, a few times I ain't listening to the brain. I hurt myself being angry and stuff like that. But the heart's gonna show you good and bad feelings. So it's gonna show you good and bad feelings. It's gonna show itself because it's in there, you know. But instead of acting upon it or allowing it to make you act, which Lord, I thank God that he stopped me from doing that. But instead of allowing it to act, understand, know, and even ask questions like, why am I feeling this? Why is this happening? Stuff like that, you know. So you have a better understanding of what your heart is kind of trying to tell you, you know. Sometimes your heart is just trying to tell you, hey, I really care about this person, or hey, I really don't like this person, or hey, this person really hurt my feelings, or hey, this job is really stressful, or hey, you know, your heart is always trying to tell you something. Don't allow it to make you move, but listen to figure out what it's saying. You feel me? Again, life flows from it. John 7:38, and this is number 7, but it also goes back to the same thing I said in number 5. But John 7:38, it states, "Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." This meaning, when you're attached to God, right? Your life flows from you. You feel me? Life flows from you, and then you're moving because this is it. Life flows from it, but this is also saying that it flows life being attached to God. So being attached to God, then that gives you the heart to help people. That gives you the heart to care about people. And God also, He gives you a mind for a reason. He shows you how to do that, how to do this without getting hurt, how to do this without, you know, like moving wrong and such like that. But the heart and the mind must be like connected, and the best way to move like that or get help moving like that is a relationship with Christ. So the heart flows. Life can be put out of it. You can build somebody's day up with your heart. You can make somebody feel love with your heart and all this other stuff. You can touch other people's feelings using your heart, and the Bible and a relationship with Christ can teach you how to do that properly or show you how to do that properly. Now, number 8, it affects the mouth. Matthew 12:34. It states, "You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out the abundance of your heart the mouth speaks." Meaning, with all the stuff that is in your heart, right, it's going to wind up coming out, you know. So that's good or evil. So if you have a lot of evil in your heart and you can't really you ain't let your heart to be, you didn't allow your heart to be cleaned or made new, then it's going to come out at some point. There's been many times where I've talked to just like just basic girls or basic guys, and you can tell as you're talking to them that they've been hurt. You feel me? Like I've started to realize that. I'm like, oh, okay, he must have hurt you, or she must have hurt you, or something like that. So a lot of times your mouth is going to tell on you. It is what it is. Their mouth is going to tell you or show you what you care about. The thing is, it's the same with if you talk about somebody I care about. Most definitely, I'm gonna get on you. You feel me? Because it's like my mouth is matching what's in my heart. What's in my heart is I care about you, and I care about this person. So then, if you try to talk crazy or talk wrong or talk negative about this person, of course I'm gonna say something. So the heart and mouth are attached. So that's another reason. Hey, watch what's in your heart, because it's gonna come out at some point. If you really truly just dislike somebody, like I've been in scenarios where I figured out somebody like didn't really mess with me. You feel me? The same way through their mouth, and it wouldn't even be like a blatant, just straight up thing. It would be more of a like you were trying to hide it, but it came out still. You feel me? So it's like your mouth is gonna show you that. It's gonna show you what's in your heart. If you truly dislike somebody, it's gonna come out. Like it is what it is. You feel me? But that's another thing about the heart. It's number 8. Number 9, it has desires. It has desires. Psalms 37:4. It states, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Meaning that your heart cares about things. It wants certain things. and those are desires. So it's like, with that said, you, when you have a relationship with Christ and you are seeking Him, then He will give you the desires of your heart. So meaning, to me, I think a lot of people think that that verse is saying, okay, so the things I care about, if I follow God, then He's gonna give it to me, right? Depending on your desires, if your desires are fleshly and all of the other stuff, He really not gonna. He's not like, He'll help you like control those fleshly desires and stuff like that, and He'll give you things in a proper way to maintain those fleshly desires. But the thing is, when you get close to God, you start to desire and you care about Him, right? So then you're also going to care about the things He cares about. So then your heart is going to start to look like His. You feel me? I care about people. I care about people's education. I care about people more than money. I care about people in relationships more than materialistic things and stuff like that. So it's like, it's important to understand that your heart has desires, right? And then especially if you have a desire to follow and be with Christ and follow Christ, then He's also going to give you desires that match His. So just know your heart cares about something. It wants something. It's if you see a movie and it's a romance movie and you're like, oh, it doesn't touch your heart a little bit because why you like that or you want that and stuff like that. You feel me? But your heart has desires. Number 9. Number 10. It can give good medicine, and this is 11. It can also give poison. These both come from Proverbs 17:22. I'm telling you, I love Proverbs, but yes, it can give medicine or it can give poison. Proverbs 17:22 states, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Meaning, again, like the other passage said, your heart can crush your spirit. And then because I'm going to talk on the poison first. Your heart can crush your spirit. So then if your crushed spirit now acts and you're moving in that, then it can be poison to everybody else, right? It can mess up everybody else. On an episode of my podcast, I kind of go in depth with this, and I give the example like when somebody's hurt in their heart, right? And other people don't really realize it or know it, right? If I tell you to, like you're dating a girl or you're dating somebody, and then I got my heart broken, you feel me? It's those scenarios where you have that friend that's telling you all this stuff, and the stuff is honestly not good for you to do, but you do it, and then like, you feel me? You're hurting that person, and then they're like the other person's hurt, and then you're like, oh, what in the world? Why'd I do this? Da da da. So that is a poison-hearted person now also poisoning your situation. You feel me? Or hurting you in your situation. So that's how they say like it can mess you up. It can mess you up and it can mess up other people because of the poison that is in that heart. Now, it can also be good medicine, which is a good thing. We want it to be good medicine. Now, if you're, again, what it says, a joyful heart is good medicine. So if your heart is full of joy in the things of Christ and stuff like that, then it's going to also bring that out and give that out too. So it's like, in that scenario, if you got your girlfriend or your boyfriend, blah, blah, and you're talking to somebody about it, and they're like, hey, do or go to Christ with this, or go to them with this, they're going to do things that was good for their heart. They do things that are good for their heart, and they're also going to do things that are good for your heart. So it's good medicine for you also. So they're going to give you good medicine that will help heal and move you in the way it needs to be moved. The same way if your heart has had to go through some level of healing and stuff like that. There's plenty of times where my heart has been hurt and stuff like that, and I see it in other people, and instead of telling them, oh, well, be mad, I would never do that. That's poison. Instead of doing that, I would tell them stuff to heal their heart. Hey, next time, like, understand, take this as I see what it is, blah, blah, blah. Understand that this God told you something through this. Take it, use it, utilize it, but then also still treat people good. You feel me? Don't treat people bad just because they treated you horribly. I know that's the natural way of the world. You want to be treating people horrible because they treated me horrible, but that's not a way to move. You feel me? So again, I'm going to restate it. 10, it can be good medicine. 11, it can give poison. That's Proverbs 17:22. Now, 12, it can produce good and evil, right? So it's a lot. Like good medicine, poison, it can produce good and evil. Luke 6:45, and it states, "The good person out of the good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure produces evil. For out the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks." So again, it's saying that you can produce good or evil with what's in your heart. The abundance of what's in your heart, right? It's going to come out through your mouth again, you feel me? And then it can either produce good or evil. And it doesn't say no in between. It don't say no in between. So it's like either the goodness that you have in your heart or that you're trying to carry in your heart is going to produce good or it's going to produce evil. So it's like it's extremely important to know what is in your heart so that you can make sure it's not giving poison and it's not producing evil. You want to produce good and you want to give good medicine through your heart. So you need to feed things into it and your spirit, man, so that when it has time when your heart has time to come out or show itself or come out through your speech and stuff like that, then it's important for you to it's extremely important to know what's in there. You feel me? I know for a long time I needed to go to a place of like allowing my heart to heal and Lord giving me a new heart, because there's a lot of things that have happened in my past, right? But it's so important to maintain and check on your heart, because even when you have evil stuff in your heart, I think it even affects it even affects your physical heart. You feel me? Like your heart start racing real heavy because you're anxious about something or you're mad about something or blah blah blah. So it's very important to make sure that your heart is being watched over and you're being vigilant over. You feel me? That's literally one of the ones I said earlier. Now the last one, 13. The heart can break, right? The heart can break. Psalms 34:18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So, with all that I've said, of course, the heart has the ability to break. It's fragile. You have to be careful with it. You have to be careful who you give it. You have to move as a good steward with your heart, because the heart you got, you really gonna have to be careful with it, because if you're not careful with your heart, then it'll affect all these other things. You're not giving life. You're giving more poison out than medicine. You're doing and producing evil instead of producing good. Now that it's extremely important. You feel me? That's why it was so important for me to jot all these down, because we need to understand the functions of the heart so that we use it properly. The same way we learn how to make our muscles function or make our mind function, you have to know how our heart functions and utilize that. So these are what the heart is, and these verses also show how we should treat it. When you hear phrases like follow your heart, that's somewhat of a falsity that the world tries to feed us, you feel me? Because it's a twofold thing. You need the heart for certain levels of certain things and stuff like that, but you also need the mind so you can utilize and use the heart properly. The heart shows you things, what you care about, how you feel, what's within you, and such. But it's not one to be followed or used as a tool to guide action. The heart is a fragile, reflective, desire-ridden, deceitful inner working that can either flow life or death, which can affect the mouth. It must be cared for with vigilance. Bow, bruh. I try. That's something that I put together from all of what the Bible had said about it, and just to kind of know, like that, to me that is a brought together definition of what the heart is. Remember this, and don't allow your heart to move you. You feel me? Don't allow your heart to move you. Understand and utilize your heart. Don't let your heart use you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out more, because I'm also going to be talking about this on the podcast soon, and I go in more depth with all of these things. So thank you so much for watching. This has been a Bible study.